What's going on, guys? This is Leo V from Ranger Rabble, and I got a special guest here with me.
Yo, what's up, Leo V? Hey, I just want to give a shout out to Ranger Rabble. You know what's going down. Hey, and you know what time it is, right?
It's morphin' time.
All day, every day. Let's go.
Welcome back to Ranger Rabble, where we dive deep into the morphin grid to break down the good, the bad, and the more phenomenal in the Power Rangers universe. And well, this week, we have to have an uncomfortable conversation.
Before Power Rangers Dino Fury, this franchise was on life support. Fans were exhausted, stories felt repetitive, and a lot of people had completely checked out. And then Dino Fury shows up swinging with better characters, stronger continuity, and enough fan service to make longtime viewers emotional.
But here's the real question. Did Dino Fury actually earn all the praise it gets? Or are fans just relieved it wasn't another disaster?
Today we are breaking down the Rangers, the villains, the twists, the Zords, and every controversial choice that is this fandom split harder than a Megazord transformation sequence.
It's morphin' time, and somebody's opinion is absolutely not surviving this episode. Hey, Zordon, you can't fool me, dude. I know Stonehenge when I see it.
Alpha, Rita's escaped. Recruit me a podcast with attitude. Ranger Rabble, we need you. Leo V, Kyle D, may the power protect you. It's morphin' time.
Go, go. Ranger Rabble. Go, go. Ranger Rabble. Rabble. Ranger Rabble.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Ranger Rabble. As always, I'm Leo V.
I'm Kyle D, and today we are talking about Power Rangers Dino Fury.
I don't know how I feel about this one. They tried to go for that like poppy electro synthy kind of and then like the lyrics were not great either.
No.
Go Power Rangers was there, so you get sort of credit.
Yay!
Base requirements.
You've appeased the Power Ranger gods. Now, this season was definitely interesting, to say the least. It gave you a lot of everything. It gave you your typical Power Rangers, jargon. It gave you aliens. It gave you bad guys. It gave you nostalgia. It gave you so many goddamn fucking Zords.
I ran out of patience for the amount of keys that they ended up having because that was just unnecessary. They at least tried to introduce some new lore with the Morphin Masters and kind of give them a little bit more backstory and some purpose in the season, which I don't hate. I just don't necessarily like how they ended up looking, because the Rangers were kind of night-looking, then the Morphin Masters came out kind of night-looking, when I don't know that they should have had that same look, especially if you were going to go off something based off of what you kind of created in more depth in the comic books. Then why not take that opportunity to really marry the two together and take that aspect, and like the Morphin emissaries could have been the Morphin Masters, and it would have been really cool to see them like filtering through the different colored suits like they did in the comic books. So they really could have done more with that if they wanted to.
I also want to point out that I, upon rewatching part of this season, finally realized that the helmets were in fact night helmets, and not just some weird cage they had over their visor that didn't make any sense. Hi, I'm really pretty.
What do you mean? They were just dinosaur teeth in a strange formation. What do you mean, a cage formation? There's no cages here.
Not a cage. You know what I mean by cage. The lines, the lining on the helmet looked like a cage. Okay.
Yeah, no, it definitely gave the grading of a knight's helmet for sure.
Yeah, and I said I watched it back and I go, oh wait, because I realized that what's his face alien dude Zoltan
Zato.
Yeah. Zato. Him and the other gentleman were knights, like actual fucking knights back then. And I was like, oh, okay, now it makes sense. They're knight helmets.
And that could be why this series was almost called Dino Knights until
Yes.
Hasbro changed the name.
Dino Knights would have sounded cooler. I'm sorry.
I don't know, like, then I would have been asking when Dino Day is, and because then do we have Dino Afternoon? We start getting into some really technical questions that I don't know that they have the answers to at the moment. So this season, the footage that they borrowed was the Sentai footage from Kishiryu Sentai Ryu Soldier. So it was a mix of that and American footage that ended up creating the 2 seasons that we got. I watched one episode of the Sentai just to kind of get an idea about it. And it was like a secret organization of Dino Knights that were charged with saving the world when the Sporix came around. I don't remember what they were called in the Sentai, but it was an interesting concept.
The Sporix were odd to me. It didn't really make any sense.
As a power source, it was fine, but then when you take it from a power source to a monster that you have to fight, and then it becomes more powerful and then turns back into the little goo form, then it's like you really just needed something transform into a monster, and it didn't necessarily feel like it had a full design concept.
Mm-hmm. No, I completely understand that.
We talked a little bit that they brought the Morphin Masters in, and this also helped to give us a kind of new look at a new interpretation, I should say, of the Morphin Grid. Mm-hmm. So pretty much Overdrive established it as like an underground tunnel of electricity, and now we kind of get to see it as a more like cosmic space. And it actually kind of makes sense if you watch their, you're kind of forced into watching their extra long morphing sequence this season. But it also mimics that, like, morphing grid, all those, like, stars and, like, what I thought was stars and constellations is actually the morphing grid.
Mm.
Which was a nice kind of addition without necessarily saying, look, we're getting changed in the morphing grid.
The Morphing Masters was a really good touch. I have to say, like, I liked the idea and the physical presence of them as well, because like they looked at these sentient beings, and like if this motherfucker comes out of the sky and says, "I'm a Morphing Master," and he's flying with those colors and those wings, yes, you are. What's up?
Sure. What do you want?
Can I have one?
It pretty much sets them up as almost like the Watcher from Marvel, where they're supposed to just watch everything that's happening in the universe and not intercede with it. But the green one decides that for humanity to survive, she has to kind of put her hand in and do something to help change the flow of events. So okay. It was nice that of all the Morphin Masters, they picked the green one to be the rebel and say, like, okay, you guys can hang out here and not do anything, but I'm going to go down and make sure that there's a world so that we can actually have something to save.
So you're saying that the green one was a rebel, little nod to Mr. Tommy Oliver?
Yeah, it does kind of seem that way.
Any of you fans out there watching, I'm not insinuating that Tommy was reincarnated as the Green Morphing Master, okay?
At one point, we even had a nice little callback to, unfortunately, Operation Overdrive, because the comic relief of the season starts at Buzz Blast, which was kind of like their like juice bar that they would always like hang out at, but also work at. So their boss decided to get herself a robot assistant, and the robot was created by Hartford Robotics. So whatever technology made Mac, I guess, now Andrew Hartford has mass produced and is now selling robots around the world.
There's a simple explanation for that.
It's called capitalism. This season also had a couple of firsts for the series overall. It had the first LGBTQIA Ranger in the Green Ranger, Izzy. And we also had the first team that was pretty much made up half alien. So whether they knew it or not, half of the team ended up being Rafkonian and the other half ended up being from Earth. So they established from the first episode that Zato can touch things and like read their mind and get information off of them, beep boop bop, mind reading shenanigans. So if that was the case, then why couldn't he have figured out that the Pink Ranger was an alien from the beginning? He could have very easily touched her and been like, oh, yep, you're from Rafcon. That's fucking weird. And then like you could have figured out where this girl's parents were, why they were from space. We had to sit there and then try to make sense of this 40 episodes later. Don't get me wrong, I like the story arc that they did. I just think that they could have maybe avoided that minor plot hole that they kind of ran into. But before we get into all that, I think it would be super coolio if you guys would smash that like and subscribe button so that you don't miss out on a single video here on the channel.
And while you're doing that, you can also get ready for the Golden Morpher. We give this away every episode at the end to tell you who we think is the best or the worst part of this entire series. And sometimes we do choose the entire series.
Evil endeavors.
One thing Dino Fury absolutely nailed, and I don't think enough people talk about this, is the villains actually feel like they belonged in a modern Power Rangers season. Because for years, Power Rangers had this issue where the bad guys either felt too goofy, too generic, or like they were just standing around waiting to lose every episode. But Dino Fury, the villains had hierarchy, personality, motivation, and actual tension between each other. And that starts with Void Knight. Void Knight was dope. He was pissed. He was evil. And just the way he fought, at first when I watched the season, I was like, okay, is that like the bad Power Ranger of the season? Like, is that what they're going to do with this? They're going to just, first episode, boom, you got a bad Power Ranger, and he ain't gonna turn good this time. But also, is he a person or is he one of these monsters that were created? And then the reveal comes, and it's like, I'm just a dude. Void Knight is probably one of the best mystery antagonist characters the franchise has done in a long time because he doesn't feel evil for the sake of evil. He feels desperate, and that is the key. At first, he looks like your typical armored Power Rangers villain, deep voice, intimidating suit, collecting Sporex beasts, but the show slowly reveals he's basically running on grief and obsession. And that's when the reveal happens. He's really just Victor Freeze.
I'm going to save you, Nora, if it's the last thing I do.
Oh, man, that's not the Victor Freeze I'm talking about. I'm talking about Arnold Freeze. Everybody, chill. So, Void Knight is trying to revive his wife, Centaura. Centaura?
I don't practice Santeria.
I was going to say that. But after they reveal all the monster attacks and chaos suddenly have emotional context behind them. He's not trying to conquer Earth because, evil knight. No. He's doing terrible things because he's emotionally broken and convinced the ends justify the means. So now it's like, oh God, Why do I feel so bad for the bad guy? He's trying to kill the Power Rangers, but he's not trying to kill the Power Rangers. They're just in his way of him trying to save his wife.
Again, so like this is where the monsters as a battery source is a very strange concept to play with, because now you have someone who's trying to utilize the power source to justify his own means of revenge, but at the same time is ending up doing unintentional harm to everybody around him just so he can go home.
Yes. And on top of all the emotion, like I was talking about earlier, the suit helps.
Oh,
The Void Knight just looks important. The silver and purple knight armor has real presence, and he feels like a tokusatsu villain from an older era, kind of like Kamen Rider.
yeah, I would agree with that.
It's definitely got a Kamen Rider feel to it. So with every villain, he needs his henchmen, and in this season, henchmen.
Such a great play on words.
They are your typical just, hey, we're going to make 1,000 of you, go out there and run out and die. Do your thing. Of course, every bad guy also needs his generals and his sidekicks. This season gave us Mucus.
Not even a cool fungal, like it just like a gooey flubber mushroom hybrid.
10 out of 10.
Really?
Fucking one of the funniest and coolest looking generals. Bro, like of all things, and like the cartooniest mushroom you've ever seen in your life.
It's super cartoony, but I don't know that it necessarily worked with the Sporex and the medieval kind of knights, and there was just too much happening where then you're like, ah yes, and here's a mushroom, and it's like,
And that's why it's 10 out of 10. That's why it's perfect, because it's just like, wait, what? Why? Like, what Power Ranger is going to feel intimidated with a cartoony mushroom running at it? Like, it's the irony that makes it the 10 out of 10.
miss me on that Mucus.
Guys, let us know in the comments what you think. Do you think Mucus was a 10 out of 10 henchman / general / comedic relief?
Or was she like a -1 on the cheddar from on the cheesy McCheese
Oh my
scale?
God, this guy. This season also gave us Regal, Wreckmate, and Slither as well. Some extra generals that were in there to help. So the holy shit reveal is that Santora is actually the Void Queen.
Yup.
And she's a scary bitch.
Driven by rage and revenge.
She's a big old scary bitch. And she immediately changes the energy of the villain side. She's colder, she's smarter, she's more manipulative, and honestly, she's a little more dangerous than Void Knight because she can't be and isn't conflicted on anything. But
yeah,
she's committed.
They definitely they did her dirty. So Void Knight and Void Queen were actually just aliens who were happened to be on this planet or got stuck here or something, and they ended up at Area 62 as alien prisoners. And then there was an explosion and they couldn't escape, and so they handed off their baby and were stuck in the rubble. So she thinks that their baby is dead and didn't survive, and that is why she is taking out all of her anger on the humans. So where Void Knight does not necessarily harbor that same anger, he just wants to, get his wife healed and go home. She is like, no, bro, they took my baby. I will make them suffer.
And the cool thing about Dino Fury is that the show doesn't instantly redeem everybody in some cheesy way. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm good again because the Power Rangers told me to be. No. There's actual emotional damage there, and the relationship between Tarek and Santoro, as we learned that Void Knight's real name is Tarek, feels tragic before it feels hopeful again. And like you said, the fact that you find out, oh my God, they lost a baby. Now you're throwing a lost child into the mix of this. This is a tragedy. This is just unbridled fury. Ha ha ha. Now comes for the mega shit reveal. And I remember watching the preview for this episode and hearing the laugh. It was Lord fucking Zed. They brought back Lord Zed. The only complaint that I have is the voice.
Right.
That is the only. And okay, is it just me, or did the suit look shorter?
It did feel a little bit shorter and bulkier, but like
yes,
only a smidgen. It wasn't like the 95 where it felt more compact, but it definitely had a little bit more of a compact feel to it.
So Lord Zed comes back, and unfortunately, he is not voiced by Robert Axelrod because by this point in time, unfortunately, Robert Axelrod has passed away. Good thing about bringing Zed back in the way they did it was they didn't soften him.
No, they made him more
come back. Yeah, like he like the modern Power Rangers sometimes brings back the classic characters and turns them into like watered down cameos. But with Dino Fury, you were like, as an adult watching this show, you're like, is that? Oh, he big mad. Okay. Oh God.
Are we in trouble?
Oh no.
Well, shit.
Like Lord Zed only works if he's intimidating. That's the only way you can pull off Lord Zed coming back.
He put so much fear into our hearts as children that if he didn't have that same effect, he would be underused.
Home sweet headquarters.
When you look at the base setup in Power Rangers Dino Fury, the command center is honestly one of the cleaner and more believable headquarters we've had in modern Power Rangers seasons. It doesn't try to be this giant sci-fi place or over-designed CGI fortress. It feels grounded, functional, and actually lived in, which works perfectly for the tone of Dino Fury. The command center itself has this sleek underground tech aesthetic to it. Got the glowing consoles, the dinosaur-themed tech elements, and the Dino Henge connection, which, first of all, I know I made fun of it in the beginning by saying Dino Head Stonehenge, but, like, Dino Henge is cool, but the real question is, how do people who go walking in the woods not see these giant stone dinosaurs?
Oh, people know about them. I mean, like when like episode 1, Ollie and his mom are new in town. Like they had just moved recently, and they already knew about Dino Henge and how to find it. Amelia had a map to it, so like people had been there before.
But I'm saying, like, how do they not like go and like explore it and find the command center?
There's a simple explanation for that.
More phenomenal mentor.
So when we go into the command center, we meet Zolan.
Sorry, yell that at me one more time.
Zolan. It took me the entire 48 minutes we've been recording to tell myself N at the end.
Yeah.
Not R, not off.
And what is a Solon?
Solon is this prehistoric looking raptor / humanoid because it walks on its hind legs and talks like a person and doesn't rip your face off. And it's crazy. It's cool that they still gave her little raptor arms, so she can't really do nothing with them. She's just like this the whole time. Oh, look, Rangers, over there.
I'm gonna push this button real quick. Not much is really known about Solon. They're a dinosaur robot that's kind of like an Alpha 5 type situation, but has a little bit more, I would say a little bit more sentience in that
Mhm.
aspect. But there's never really an explanation as to how this dinosaur got combined with robot parts and why any of that makes sense.
There's a simple explanation for that.
I personally liked this command center more than previous ones because this one actually felt like, you know, this is an actual like command center. This is where shit goes down and decisions are made. It's not a pizzeria.
Don't you throw shade at Jungle Karma Pizza Man, taking a slice out of evil.
Okay.
So our Rangers for this season, we had an interesting kind of dynamic between all of them. But I will say, starting out, these suits are not terrible. The like half silver, half their color, I probably could have done without if they were like all one color with the little bolt in the middle.
Yeah.
Probably would have been okay with that, but I guess it worked with how it like pulled in with the silver in their gauntlets and their helmet, so it worked. But I don't know that it needed that extra color. Their color, black and silver. So Zato is our Red Ranger, and he is a knight from Rafcon. He was responsible for losing most of his team in a giant battle because the Megazord wasn't powerful enough to handle it. And the Gold Ranger got stuck in a coma underwater, and then everybody else died, and their power was lost. And then Zato was in a stasis field for 65 million years while Solon was playing solitaire. But Zato has an interesting arc where most of the season he is looking for his planet and trying to reestablish connection with whatever's left of his civilization. So he does have some interactions getting him back to his planet and using some of their Zords to help them get there.
Coolio.
One of the worst catchphrases from this season.
So bad.
So our Blue Ranger, Ollie, he is our scientist of the group. He pretty much is too smart for his own good and has to get some humility lessons throughout the season. But he eventually comes to terms with the fact that like he knows he's smart, but he just has to go about using his smarts correctly. Him and the Pink Ranger kind of have a bit of a crush on each other and end up being a item, I guess, by the end of season 2 at least, because they're definitely a thing going into Cosmic Fury. Amelia is the Pink Ranger. She is a like supernatural ghostbuster, and honestly one of the cooler of the Pink Rangers that we've had over the last few years. She wanted to be a paranormal investigator because there was very little evidence surrounding whatever happened with her parents, and she was trying to figure out what happened to them and why she was raised by an old man janitor. She turns out to be an alien because she is the baby of Tarek and Santora. And she's Rafconian, so they have a whole big reunion at the end, and they use the power of friendship and paternity tests to save the day.
You are the father!
Then we get into our Black Ranger, who is a musician. Javi is one of my favorite Black Rangers. Definitely a fun, artsy kid that is struggling to like find his niche. He's got a lot of different skills with playing different instruments, but he struggles with his dad not really supporting him in what he does. Izzy is the Green Ranger, and she is a very strong athlete. She's very sure of herself, and she has a rivalry with a fellow athlete, Fern, and then the two of them end up having a little crush on each other, and then they end up dating a little bit later on in season 2. So it's nice to see that kind of relationship develop for them. So it's always nice to see some representation happening in Power Rangers. Good on you. And then you have the Gold Ranger, who was also Rafconian and was stuck in a coma. He was 65 million years stuck in the water, and I did kind of like the way they blue and gold did his outfit. I did like that one a lot.
I mean, it's different. The color scheme works. I feel like maybe even if they do like a little bit like just more black in with the blue, like outline the stuff in black on the blue side.
It felt like they did a little bit of black when it came to there was like a special saber that they used at the end.
Yeah.
So I want to say that kind of gave him like a big black cape, or it was just like a dark blue. Hard to really tell.
Awesome armory.
So this season was big on the Dino keys that they would use. So their morphing keys would basically obviously get them into their suits. They would use those to morph. The boosts were in their like battles. They would kind of use those as a little bit of a power up, and the armors were more had a Zord to go with them.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as keys go, like some of these are so stupid. So you had the stink key. I'm not even going to explain what all these are because there's so many. So there's stink key, gravy key, hyper key, sonic key, hover key, fix it key, sprint key, shield, elasto, muscle, flare, slick, balloon, double dino, spin, invisi, mist, grow, snooze, cushion.
There's a simple explanation for that.
And then we get into the armor keys, which came with Zords. So we had the blazing key, the electro key, the shadow key, the light key, the cosmic key, the smash key, the freeze key, and then you had the Dino Night key, which was like the battleizer, which didn't come around until season 2 because that was Void Knight's armor. So in story, after Zato and the rest of the Rangers had exploded 65 million years ago, when Tarek came to Earth, in his process of grieving everything, he found this Dino Knight key and was able to use that to become Void Knight. So when Zato uses it, it becomes a red outfit instead of purple.
Mecha Madness!
So with Zords, they had way too many Zord formations. So I don't like when they take a team of 5 and they spend most of their time with Megazord formations of 3 or less. It just doesn't make any sense. So you had the T-Rex Champion, which was the Red Ranger Zord, the Tricera Blade, which was the Blue Ranger, the Ankylo Hammer, which was the Pink Rangers, the Tiger Claw, which was the Green Rangers, the Stego Spike, which is the Black Rangers, and all of those would come together to make Warrior Mode formation. There was other, like, individual ones that they would all do, but, like, who the fuck cares? The Gold Ranger had the Moza Razor, which also turned into, like, a Megazord of its own. So with their other keys, they had the Dimetro Blazing Zord, the Terra Freeze Zord, the Cosmic Combo, which was the Light and the Shadow Raptor, which would like combine together to do not time travel, like open a portal to wherever you wanted to go, because they had to find a planet, so they needed some way to get them there, MacGuffin. And then there was the Pack-a Smash Zord and the Pack-a Baby Zord, which means that Zords can reproduce, which opens up its own can of worms as to does it need to be the same kind of Zord to reproduce, or can like a Mighty Morphin Zord come and combine with a Lightspeed Rescue Zord and have like a dinosaur train baby? Like, how does this shit work?
There's a simple explanation for that.
Their Ultra Zord doesn't even combine all of the Zords together, which is surprising because normally they just overpower the fuck out of an Ultra Zord. But this one, I think, was only like 4 of them together to create an Ultra Zord, which is like, well, if you only need 4 of them, then the fuck do you need all these other ones for? We did have some fun cameos this season. Mechanic from Ninja Steel showed up. We also had the Ninja Nexus Prism to fit in with the Morphin Masters. You talked about Lord Zed. And of all of the fucking callbacks to try to do, so the big floating head Lothar from Mighty Morphin, they brought his nephew Lothorn and actually gave him a body to fight with. So he was another unnecessary villain for like 5 minutes.
The Golden Morpher.
My Golden Morpher goes to Lord Zed because that is just mwah, perfect. The way they brought him back, how he was just off the boat, evil, just angry, pissed. I'm going to kill the Power Rangers.
It came very close.
Yes. Yeah, it's just like, Lord Zed did not lose any steps at all. Like, whether it's a reincarnation or not, he big pissed.
Came back so powerful that the Morphin Masters had to actually step in and save the day.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you?
I would say my Golden Morpher is... I guess it'll go to Amelia and the family reveal. I very much enjoyed that they made her the main plot of the season almost, without fully making her, oh my god, every episode is about this. So it was nice that they slowly built to it and did not take up all of the screen time for it, but gave it enough screen time where it didn't feel rushed and it didn't feel like it was forced.
Okay. I respect that.
What would you give this season overall?
I'm going to give this a 7.
That's fair.
I'm going to give it a 7. It nailed the nostalgia on the head perfectly. The villains, like I was saying earlier, the villains for this season were just absolutely perfect. Like the amount of more attention I paid to those two specifically to see what was going to happen, incredible.
Yeah,
incredible. I also like the team that they had, the team of Rangers they had. They made you believe, like, okay, this is how a Power Rangers team fights. Like when they first got the Morphers and they kept messing up the morph, and Zeta was like getting pissed off about it, like, hey, like it's this, and this, not whack right in the face. Like it showed you, oh wow, we don't know what we're doing. It's not like, hey, I'm Andros. Here, put these on. Follow my lead. 3, 3, 5. Woo! Why did Zato become white and red?
So they were given the Dino Master Saber to defeat Lord Zed, but they were told that to use it, you basically have to sacrifice yourself. So in doing so, Zato sacrificed himself and became a different kind of ranger. And we'll get a little bit more information on what happened to him in Cosmic Fury. But needless to say, he made the ultimate sacrifice and is no longer with the team.
What about you?
I would say probably like an 8.5.
Okay.
it definitely felt, out of all of the newer seasons that we had watched, more cohesive, and they knew what story they were telling from the get-go. So it didn't feel like they were trying to find their way through the first 6 or 7 episodes and then stumble into a story. Plus, the setup that they did for the continuation going into Cosmic Fury was really cool. So we get to follow this team around for one more season and see just exactly how their story ends. So stay tuned for the next episode where we are going to break down Power Rangers, the Cosmic Fury.
That has been another episode of Ranger Rabble in the books, but now it's your turn to settle the debate. Is Dino Fury the blueprint for the future of Power Rangers, or was it simply just the best-looking bandage on a franchise still trying to figure out what's going on?
Be honest, did the story live up to the hype? Were the villains overrated? And where does this season rank against RPM, Time Force, SPD, Dino Charge?
Sound off in the comments, because you know this fandom is all about controversy. Until next time, I'm Kyle D.
And I'm Leo V.
Dino Fury
Dino
King.
Fury King.
Like
Bring
the
some
Morphin
more.
Grid. And as always, guys, may the power protect you. Later.
Later.
Thanks, guys, for checking out Ranger Rabble. If you haven't already, make sure you check out this next video that we're suggesting you, because that's how the algorithm knows that you like what you're watching.